Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Three Geeks podcast. We are going to be off to a very interesting start here.
Black Panther.
Yeah. Rondell decided to make his triumphant return to the podcast today.
Woo! Return like Killmonger.
We got Dan, Max, Mike, and our special guest, Lani, and we will get talking to Lani some more here in just a second. Just want to let you guys know that tonight's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/3geeks for all of your audiobook needs. Max, tell the good people about Audible.
It's got over 180,000 possible titles for you to choose from. Everybody knows that books are dangerous. Okay, you have books around. If you read as much as you should, you're gonna have stacks and stacks and stacks of books just everywhere. They could fall on you. If your house catches on fire, Jason knows about this. It's a fire hazard. Just think about this: the libraries.
Libraries are the most dangerous places you can go to.
Dan has heard commercials about this.
I saw on the news, there's pictures of some guy relieving himself in the corner. They got guns. Cops are there all the time. Don't go to the libraries, people.
Audible.com. All right? You got to go to Audible. You get your audiobook. They read it to you. You don't have to do any of the lifting. You don't have to lift the book. You don't have to turn a page. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just get that awesome material fed to you.
You just push a button.
By stars like William Shatner and Bruce Campbell and George Takei.
Oh my!
And so yeah, check out. Go to
audibletrial.com/geeks.
Bam, check that out.
But get Lani's book though.
Yes,
get Lani's book though.
Lani's book is okay to have.
I'm not on Audible yet because we haven't done an Audible version. Because we've been focused on the movie, but I'm planning on doing it. So I'm actually a fan of. You have both. You get like your signed copy and that goes on your shelf and that you don't touch, and then you get the Audible version to listen to. But yeah, I haven't done one yet. That's on the list, and I've gotten a lot of requests for it because a lot of people like to listen to books in the car. But we've just been focused on the movie, so I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But I'm going to, I promise, and I'll let you guys know when it comes out for sure.
You gonna read it yourself?
I think so. Yeah. I tend to like it when the authors read it more than when you get someone else to read it because, I mean, the author knows the inflection that's supposed to be there because they wrote it. And so I think that, that's my favorite. So I'm going to probably read it myself. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. I had a house fire. That's why Lani's book is the only book in the background of the podcast.
Jason saved it, especially. He was like, no, from the clutches of the flames.
He grabbed the book and the lizard.
He was like crawling on the floor with just the book.
Yep, that was it. It was a momentous occasion.
It's a signed copy.
It's funny. When we had our house fire, I did run in the house to save my son's lizard. And I just watched This Is Us last week, and the dad dies from going back into the house to save his kid's animal. Spoiler alert. Sorry, I just realized that I totally...
Damn! Oh, man, you just ruined This Is Us for me. I was going to start watching tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, because that's something I would
all
watch.
The feels, Jason. You've ruined all the feels.
I told my kids the next house fire, their animals are on their own.
Dude, that's so crazy, though. Like, you had a This Is Us. You could have been... Your whole life could have been This Is Us, or that would have been the end of your life. But the rest of your kids' lives could have been This Is Us. And that would have been amazing. It's like,
that would have been amazing.
It's like fact and truth is stranger than fiction sort of crazy shit.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah,
awesome, Max.
I would have wrote about it and made lots of money later on in life.
30 years of friendship, and you want me to just die in a fire.
I don't want you to, but I'm saying if that's how you went, that's pretty cool.
I'd rather go in the explosion.
He didn't completely spoil it because he didn't tell us which dad. So I guess we can.
There you go.
Everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that he died.
That dad.
That one.
That dad.
That dad?
Yes.
Check out our TeePublic store in the link in the description of this video. Give a shout out to our buddy ArcMatter at youtube.com/ArcMatter. And yeah, we've got some awesome con experiences coming up that we're not allowed to talk about yet. Still not allowed to talk about it. It's like a month away. We can't say we're going to be there. I'm just going to tell you it's somewhere west and it's a state over.
No, it ain't. No, we're not confirming nor denying.
Could I guess? If I guessed, would I?
We can neither confirm or deny any possible thing.
I mean, you can go down the list because there are possibilities, but we can't say yes.
Yes. Well, some of us are going to go to Lexington. We know that. We
Yeah,
don't know
that's
how
gonna be
many
fun.
of us yet.
I'll be at Tom and I will be at Lexicon.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Come say hi. Yeah, our buddy's going to introduce us to Bulk and Skull from the Power Rangers.
I'm excited for that. That's a childhood bucket list thing. But I mean, like Bulk and Skull, it's like it's always like me and my friend Jason. Like I was the fat guy, he was the skinny guy. We were always getting into shenanigans, beating up Power Rangers in high school.
There's Bulk and Skull's kids and Jay and Silent Bob as adults.
Yeah, that's true, except I don't shut up.
No, I'm the quiet one usually. But yeah. What's going on? What are you talking about? Pokemon?
Oh yeah, dude! Pokemon
everybody?
Go. They dropped the new set of Pokemon, so you can get a whole bunch of new stuff. I've been catching Pokemon left and right. Luckily, the restaurant next to my job is a Pokemon gym, so I'm just like collecting inventory all day, just getting those Pokeballs, getting all my little potions and whatnot. I'm at the gym.
Actual gym? It's an actual gym, or it's just a Pokemon gym?
It's just a Pokemon gym.
Max doesn't know what a gym looks like.
I do know what a gym looks like. I
the
know.
place you shall not go.
Yeah, you have to know what they are to know to avoid them.
Oh,
so
God.
I know what a gym looks like. You see some treadmills lined up, you see some free weights, you run away.
Look at those bros. Oh God.
yeah. You see guys like you're
I thought it would be funny if the Pokemon gym was in an actual gym,
Yeah. That would be cool. It'd probably be like a fighting gym that have all kinds of like big Machops walking around. I know I'm getting way nerd for all you
They
guys
should
right
do
now.
that. Some of the people playing Pokemon could really use to go to the gym a few times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but Pokemon
Present
does help.
company.
It is supposed to get you out walking around. So, but I'm just a lazy American asshole, so I drive around, or I just go to work and take advantage of the fact that I work next to restaurants.
Yeah.
It's a true story. Max wants to get a golf cart so he can just coast around.
Yeah, because the cars go too fast. So you need something to go slower, so that it doesn't ever be like you're going too fast. We're not counting your
like
step.
half of your neighbors at that point.
Oh, dude, yeah, I want one real bad. So I got to talk to them, see like where.
You just need to get a golf cart and then one of those like 5 in a row strollers just for no reason, and then you can drive them both around.
I mean, what? It's like I can carry drinks in the back of the stroller or something.
Maybe. Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. I'm down.
I just try to get to your place, and there's like a 4 stroller in a row, lady like pushing them straight down. It's like, oh, come on.
But yeah, so that's been good. I was playing Dungeons and Dragons until like 4:00 this morning.
I wish I could go to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's
I don't like to leave my house, so.
Yeah, that's.
We could do D&D here at some point.
And then Black Panther. So yeah. It's been a pretty nerdy week.
Nice.
What about you? How you doing?
Me?
What's going on in your life?
I'm good.
You're back in your house?
I know. I hurt my back, so I have a cane that I walk around the house with. That's pretty awesome. My wife makes fun of me.
Do you call yourself Mr. Glass?
No, they call me Mr. Max and I have started our own Max and Jason podcast, the Podcast the Lips Now. Did I say that right?
Podcast Lips Now.
Podcast the Lips Now, which is on iTunes. So definitely go check that out. Anything new? Rondell!
Rondell's back.
Yeah. Sorry, he hasn't been on this podcast in like 2 years.
Yeah, seems like it. Probably disappeared again. But
Max is
for
just
now,
like,
here.
we're doing Black Panther. We have to get every black person we know into the basement. To talk
Wakanda
about
forever.
Black Panther.
And sadly, this is all the black people we know.
No, that's not true. We know 2 other black people.
3, Tracy.
Oh, I'm gonna stick with my previous statement. But yeah, there's only. I guess you can get like a Mitten and Molly. Like
They're Indian. They're not black.
but they're brown.
That's not the same thing.
That's close enough. It's something, right? Like
No.
it counts. You get like half credit or something. Can we get like a 5/8 agreement or something?
I wouldn't say it's the same. I mean, I don't.
Well,
I'm gonna say no on that one.
all right. I'm just trying. I'm trying to get inclusive here. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm like Trump. I'm trying to get my numbers up.
You gotta try a lot harder than that.
I'm doing the best I can. I'm a solitary nerd. I don't know a lot of people.
Saw Black Panther. Finally watched Blade Runner 2049.
I'm watching a Japanese show called Remade on Netflix. It's pretty good. Yeah. I have to read.
Ah,
Yeah,
Oh,
it's cool though,
subtitles?
because my son came down and watched it with me, so he's reading the captions at the bottom as he's watching it. So
So
I'm
that's
really
good.
happy.
Yeah, it promotes literacy.
I'm trying to teach him more entertainment that's not just made in America. Like, there's actually good stuff. So,
Yeah, for sure.
You
You
guys-
should teach him Japanese. That would be awesome. I like people yelling at each
He
other.
doesn't know Japanese.
I do too. It's very entertaining. What was that?
Have you guys seen the trailer in front of YouTube videos? It's a Hong Kong flick, like World's Greatest Detective Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that. That was awesome.
Also, the idea of a half Mexican, half white kid screaming in Japanese really amuses me.
That would be awesome.
Maybe I come over to see that. Yeah, where else? Nani?
Lani, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been home for once for a couple of weeks. I actually leave on Tuesday to go out to LA, and then I'm headed to Wizard World Comic Con in Cleveland. Well, we leave on the 28th because we do press for them. So Tom and I will get into town on the 28th, and then we have that con that weekend, and then I go to Nashville for a couple days, and then we do Lexicon the following weekend. So staying busy. So, what'd you say?
How was Sundance?
Sundance was awesome. I used to, about like 13, 14 years ago, I was a staff member on a festival here in Vegas called Cine Vegas. And a lot of the people that work Cine Vegas also work Sundance, and I did both. And so I used to go and work Sundance every year, and I had missed the last 3 years. I don't know why I held up 5, but I missed the last 3 years.
It
so,
felt like that long.
Yeah, it did. It felt like forever. So it was really fun to go back and see my friends. And I actually, so Trevor Groth, who was the director of Sundance, he also ran Cine Vegas, and nobody knew it until the festival ended, but he announced that he was leaving to go do other things. So I got to be there for Trevor's last year, which I didn't know, but I'm really glad I didn't miss it. I got to see some cool films. One of them in particular, I don't think it's been picked up yet, but it's called Summer of '84. It's kind of, it's more reality based, because there's no supernatural, but it's very feels like Stranger Things a little bit. It's about a kid who figures out that he lives next door to a serial killer. But kind of nobody believes him. So it's, but it's got really it's got a very 80s feel. And it was directed by 3 people, which I thought was interesting because usually there's just one director. So the dynamic of that was kind of cool. I didn't get to see, I never see as many films as I want to see at Sundance. So, but nowadays after Sundance ends, there's so many ways, they go on Amazon or they go on the Sundance channel or somebody picks them up, that I feel like eventually you can probably see all them. It used to be like, oh my God, if you didn't see it at Sundance, you might never see it. And now it doesn't seem to be that way. So I worry about it less than I used to. So, but it's still fun to see it there, with the excitement and the directors and the Q&As and all that. So.
Yeah, my goal is to go to Sundance because as much as I love the big blockbusters, I love the Oscar movies that come out at the end of the year, and a lot of that stuff comes from Sundance. I really want to go.
Lady Bird, man.
I would never leave my house.
I'd
never leave. I'd just watch the movies the whole time in the theater or wherever they show them.
I mean, some of the films are amazing. Some of them are terrible. And I say that because, they definitely have their own unique flair. And some of them just don't fit in the normal mainstream boxes, or, there's something there for everyone, and therefore there's something there that you won't like. I always joke that I saw one of the best movies I ever saw at Sundance, and I saw one of the worst movies I ever saw at Sundance. And they actually happened in the same year. The best one I ever saw, still to this day, was from, I think, 2006, and it was called Adam's Apples, and you can find it. It's a subtitled movie. So it's not in English. I think it's, I can't remember, but it's a really amazing movie with a really cool story, and I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that movie. And I actually don't remember I looked it up the other day. I think it was called I don't remember the name of the the really bad one. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but here.
Best forgotten.
Best forgotten for sure. So, there was a movie that played this year called Science Fair, and I didn't see it, but this year it was the first year where they had all the audiences vote on every movie that played, and so there was an audience favorite. There used to be like audience voting, but it was only for certain categories. This year they did it basically any movie that played at Sundance got voted by the audience, and then there's a jury every year, and they pick like the movies for certain categories. But this year they did one audience award, and Science Fair, which I didn't see but everybody raved about, was supposedly really, really great. It's a documentary about like kids that are like in high school and that go to like the big science fair, and they're super smart. And I saw the preview for it. It looked really amazing. And then some friends of mine who I've known back when they made shorts, they now make feature films. They made a film called Damsel, which looked really fun. Their last names it's two guys. They actually make them together. They're brothers, the Zellner brothers, Nathan and David Zellner. And it starred Robert Pattinson. And there was also a tiny horse in the movie. I didn't get to see that one either. I tried to. The showing that I could have gone to was super early, and I just couldn't get to it. But the tiny horse was at the Q&A, so I saw pictures from that.
The trailer is just Robert Pattinson for like 45 seconds, and then like 2 seconds of a tiny horse, and then they
well, they had the tiny horse at the Q&A. It was like Rob Pattinson, David and Nathan Zellner, and the tiny horse. So I don't know how many questions the horse was willing to answer.
Okay. That was my question there. So
yeah,
I heard tiny horses are kind of jerks. So.
Yeah, stupid tiny horse.
They don't like to answer questions, but I know that they just took that one to Cannes. So Damsel also played at Cannes, which is kind of cool. I don't know if they took the tiny horse to Cannes or not. Either.
I hope the tiny horse gets to travel. Like,
it needs its own room.
Yeah, I hope that a major part of the movie and it gets to travel with them.
Right? Yeah, me too. So that's my Sundance take.
Very nice.
So check out Tiny Horse starring Robert Pattinson.
That's all we got out of that. Thank you.
And Summer of '84.
Yeah,
Summer of '84.
That I actually want to see.
And Science Fair.
Yeah, okay.
But mostly Tiny Horse.
Mostly Tiny Horse, yes.
That's usually what people retain. Nothing else. Nobody heard anything else. Just the Tiny Horse.
Mike, what's new with you? Me and Max just did a Remake Revolution on your channel, which is coming out this week. What else has been going on?
Life, work, Black Panther. Trying to think what we can do YouTube wise to rake in a lot more eyeballs, because one particular YouTuber on here keeps making life very difficult for the rest of us. So that's all.
A tiny horse, apparently. And
I think that's what I need, honestly.
Yeah. Oh God.
I need to invest in a tiny horse.
You guys
and
should,
Robert Pattinson.
right? Reach out to the Zellner brothers and see if the tiny horse can come on for interviews about his movie.
Yeah, see if you can get a used tiny horse for cheap.
I would gladly
Only
do that
10,000 miles.
I would gladly do that interview. That would be a great interview, I'm sure.
Yes. Did everybody get to check the new Cobra Kai trailer?
I watched it. I did my homework. I did.
All right, Ladi's doing better than half of us right Thank God.
Well, I didn't get. You guys made it to see Black Panther in the theater, and I haven't had a chance to do that yet. So, but I watched the trailer.
You should. It was really good.
Yeah, it looked a little cheesy. Like, and I'm a huge Karate Kid fan, so like this, I'm hoping that the actual, what they're making is really great. But the trailer was just a little cheesy, especially at the end. And maybe it's because I've met both the guys in real life, or I don't know. But yeah, it just felt like they were about to like bust out laughing or something. I don't know. So, am I the only one that felt that way?
No, I thought it looked a little cheesy too. We met Ralph Macchio a few years ago at Columbus Comic Con.
Real nice guy.
Yeah, very
super
very
nice
guy.
Yeah.
I think what's funny about this whole project is it's being produced by Will Smith and Jada Pinkett. Like,
What?
it's so much so that they realized that their son's movie was not good. So instead of trying to recast and make it, we're going to bring the original guys back and see what they could do, because it's going to be way better than what we did.
Well, I want to point out, sorry, and I just interrupted somebody. I love that they brought back the original people, because so much, and there's other things happening, like other shows that are getting reboot and stuff, and they're just like basically like gonna make the same shows with new cast members, and I never understand that, because I'm like, well, like that already happened, and usually if you are remaking a show, it's really great, and that's why they bother remaking. It's like, you probably are not gonna get the same chemistry. Like they're doing that with Charmed right now, and it's really just like bumming me out, because the original cast was great, and you know, you can't like if you're gonna do something, reboot it, great. But you know, why not? I mean, the original cast members aren't that old. Like, do something with them, or do something that they're a part of, or I mean, that's what fans want to see. And so I think it's really great that they're actually using the original cast members. And so I really hope that it does well, because I think that will bode well for other things that are, you know, getting new life to, it always bums me out when they bring something back, or like Jumanji was a great movie. And of course you could bring back Robin Williams, unfortunately, but they made little ode to him, but you know, they could have brought somebody else back. There are lots of, you know, Kristen Dunst, or I don't know. They could have done something with somebody. So.
But also, I mean, like, you don't know how much they're like, hey, Kirsten, you want to be in the movie? She's like, I'm good on the Jumanji remake. You know? But, you know, like, you got The Rock. She's like,
I mean, on paper, the Jumanji remake, you don't think it's going to work. And then
but then they're like, we got The Rock.
Yeah, but Baywatch also got The Rock.
Yeah, so I would have been in Baywatch, too.
Did you guys, has everyone seen the Jumanji remake here? Like, has everyone... He's shaking.
I'm not worried about spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not worried about spoilers.
No, I had a thought, and I didn't understand why they didn't do this. But if you didn't see the movie, you might not follow me. But there's a character who starts out in the beginning, and he gets sucked into the game, and then 20 years later, these teenagers get sucked into the game, and then they have to solve it so they all can get out. And so the guy who gets sucked into the game because when the kids get sucked in, they aren't themselves, right? So the kid that becomes Nick Jonas. Yeah. So, you know, that girl, the Bethany character who's really Jack Black, like she saves his life and everything. And then I was so dead sure that 20 years later, the kid who gets, you know, he goes back to where he is from the beginning, so he gets to live his life. I was sure he was going to have this son, and the son was going to get out of the car at the end and like look kind of like Nick Jonas and date Bethany. And then they didn't do that. And I was like, how did they miss that? That was like such a cool tie-in.
Why would he look like Nick Jonas, though? That guy doesn't look anything like Nick Jonas.
Yeah. He kind of did. I mean, you know, just
that was Tom Hanks' kid.
At the
end, like the dude grown up is Tom Hanks. Colin Hanks.
Yeah. And
wearing a Metallica t-shirt.
But when he gets sucked in the beginning, he's a good-looking young kid who kind of favored Nick Jonas. So it would have been like a little slight overreach, but it would have been, even if it wasn't Nick Jonas, but his son should have been and they should have dated, because that would have made that whole circle complete. And
he should have left his wife and kids for the 15-year-old girl.
Yeah,
and it's just a weird, totally awkward thing where they fall in love.
And it only happens in vampire movies and TV shows.
Yeah. And you know, we get a tiny horse in there when we get
a tiny horse. Not letting that go, are you?
I like the tiny horse, man. I feel like it works on so many levels.
They're making a Jumanji 3, so this could all happen in 3.
Oh man.
A tiny horse is going to be one. Tiny horse is going to be one of the game pieces or game characters.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, Robin Williams. There you go.
But as the genie from Aladdin.
Yes, there you go.
No CGI Robin Williams. Leave him alone.
Yeah, no. There was a Robin Williams documentary at Sundance as well. It was pretty good, but it was kind of a lot of stuff that you kind of our. I mean, there was some things you didn't know, but yeah, a lot of it was just the history. The history was cool, but I was like, I mean, I could have watched that kind of anywhere, but it was super interesting. I actually had to leave. I had to get to because I was working premieres for Sundance, and so I had to leave to get to before it was over. So I didn't see how they wrapped it up, but I heard they just kind of like they didn't focus on how he died as much as just his life, which was cool for sure. But
yeah. I've been watching those little 5-minute things. I think George Takei has been posting. I don't know if he produces them or not, but there's there's one about Jackie Chan and there's one about Jim Carrey that I've seen, and like they're very well done. But it's just like words and pictures and stuff like that coming by, and yeah, I don't know. I've just been watching those lately. It's really interesting. But yeah, I'd be down to watch that. About Robin Williams too. That'd be pretty cool. How long was that? Like 90 minutes of Robin Williams?
No, it was like close to 2 hours, I think.
2 hours of Robin Williams.
Because I got to see the first hour and maybe hour and 15, hour and 20, and it still had quite a bit left.
Yeah, it's like a retrospect, so it's like touching base with like friends and family and colleagues and stuff, probably, right?
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, some of his relatives talked. A lot of other comedians who worked with him. I mean, they talked about. I didn't know this, but I guess he was good friends with Jim Belushi and was actually with Jim Belushi the night he died.
Belushi, yeah.
He left before, and that's actually what kind of spurned him from kind of maybe not spiraling into that kind of stopped his drug abuse at the time because he saw what it did to Jim Belushi. But like the girl that played Mindy in Mork and Mindy, she was, a part of it. And like he had a first wife before he married the woman who he had kids with, or sorry, he had one kid with the first wife, and then like the one that he was with when he died. And she spoke, and it was cool. Like, and they even talked about like before he was famous, how like they had some really well-known comedians who talked about how even back then, David Letterman was in the comedic game at the time, and like he said that Robin would walk into the room and just kind of slay them all, and they would all just be like, how can we compete with that, and that was kind of cool, because you always wonder like who makes those guys scared. Well, I guess Robin Williams did. So
I remember Robin Williams is inside the actor's studio. And they're like, he entertained our crowd for 6 hours, and this is the 45 minutes that we could put together.
Yeah, apparently that's, he had, like, that was like, he had to do it. That was like his drug, entertaining people. That was the only time he felt like real, is kind of what I got out of the part of the documentary. So
cool. Max, Cobra Kai, what do you think?
I mean, like, yeah, you guys are, and it's cheesy. It looks a little like a lower budget,
I just want it to be fun. That's all I want.
Yeah. It looked kind of like, but I'm not sure that. I don't think it's gonna be very good. I didn't get a very good vibe from it. It's, I'm glad like those guys are back, and that's cool. I wish that they're calling it Cobra Kai, so I'm like, or are we following the bad guys around? Like, is it more about getting, like, is it sort of a darker take on the Karate Kid? I mean, that's kind of interesting. To get the whole thing from the bad guys' perspective, but on the other hand, I don't know. I don't know what they're really shooting for. So yeah, it's cool. Like, it was a good idea, I guess, and I don't know that the execution is going to be all that I want it to be, but. I also don't really know what I want from that. Yeah. So, like, I don't know that this is entirely necessary. Yeah, that's, okay, hey, Ralph Macchio's working. Let's keep it up. Hopefully it's good. Rondell?
I haven't watched it. But
didn't watch
it. As far as looking forward to it, not really. It's like, Karate Kid's done, let it go. Remake wasn't as good, so.
Well, the remake should have been called Kung Fu Kid, because nobody did any karate in that movie.
You guys are leaving out the next Karate Kid. You realize?
Hillary Swank.
The Hillary Swank
one?
Yeah. That one was better than the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith in it.
Those were some hardcore hall monitors, though, in that movie.
Yeah.
These were nuts.
I kind of wanted to turn into like a caper film. Like in the middle, like they're just playing pranks at each other because they got to get to like the $1 million prize somewhere. I know it's not going to happen. That's what I want, though.
Rufus the dog.
Uh-oh.
That's Missy. She wants to go outside, so somene's letting her outside. Sorry. She really has thoughts about the Karate Kid as well that she wanted to share.
She sees a tiny horse on the lawn. It's time to go.
Sorry about that.
There's too many TV shows.
Yeah.
Like we're getting, like you guys talked about last week, the Child's Play TV show. I've heard about a Mighty Ducks TV show spun off of the original film series.
Mighty
We've got
Ducks
this TV show. Rumors of Mad About You coming back. Rumors of Family Matters coming back. Like,
oh man,
Mighty Ducks is in like with like original cast members, or Mighty Ducks like start over again with like new kids.
The rumor is they would get Josh
Paisley
Jackson.
Joshua
Jackson to come on and play the coach, with Emilio being someone
Emilio
involved,
Estevez, yay!
a whole new group of kids. And
Yeah,
Emilio
what's his
is
name from
less
Daredevil?
crazy.
I would watch that just for Joshua Jackson because I had a huge crush on him when he was a kid. So
Oh, who from Daredevil? Colin Farrell?
No, the Foggy, his buddy Eldon, whatever his name is.
I like that.
Knuckle Puck.
If you get a chance, Lani, go onto YouTube and type in Josh Jackson Paisley Con. It is hysterical. He goes to San Diego Comic-Con, and he's walking around with a big sign that says Paisley Con, and he's trying to get everybody to come to his Dawson's Creek Paisley. It's hysterical.
Oh,
that's awesome. I'll have to check it out. Tom's friends with Aaron Schwartz, who played one of the Ducks. He was like the chubby kid. One of the there was a couple. He was like
Knuckle Puck is on Saturday Night Live. Foggy is a Bash brother.
Yeah,
that's right. He's the Bash brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though I don't feel like he's a Bash brother anymore. He doesn't look very intimidating anymore.
No.
So does he get a lot of people to come to his thing? To come to his
Paisley Con?
yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's funny though. He's like
I would have gone to Paisley Con for sure. And I didn't watch Dawson's Creek, but I would have.
I mean, you at least got to check it out. Just to see how possibly sad it is.
There's like 20 people in there, and half of them are weeping.
Oh, dude, they're all dressed like Paisley.
Oh.
I don't know how that is, though. How do you exactly dress like a teenage white kid from 1995?
In Paisley?
Yeah, in Paisley.
I don't know.
He basically looks the same. Like, you know how some people like become like they look totally different than they did when they were kids, but he could literally be like, you know, he basically looks like he's 17 still. So
he's drinking that same Kool-Aid that Ralph Macchio is drinking.
I think what it is you need to have had a show on the WB in the late 90s, early 2000s, and you'll stay perpetually young. Because, like, he looks the same. Katie Holmes looks the same.
Vanderbeek.
Yeah, Vanderbeek looks the same. Sarah Michelle Gellar, still looks like Buffy. So, yeah. Just,
they
you had
put
to have been on
in the water at the WB. Got it.
Yeah. What? Because the WB's like, man, we need to keep these guys young for as long as possible. So it's like we need to exploit.
Side effects may include eternal youth and singing like that frog every once in a while. Oh, baby.
I kind of miss the frog.
Now I'm not going to Spaceballs.
Well, that's all of the. Well, now we'll do this one first too. So, Black Panther is going to do $218 million this weekend domestically.
Wow.
What
did it cost? What did it cost? Did it already make its money back?
I will find out in just a second.
I mean, Infinity War cost $250 million, right? Didn't it?
Uh-huh.
So that had to be more expensive than Black Panther.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So
you double that too with marketing.
Yeah.
Or was it doubled already?
Well, I'm just saying. I think that's without marketing.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway,
I feel like usually those numbers, when they're like 200, 300 million, it's gotta have some marketing in there. Though you got to keep in mind that the theater takes at least half. So, you know, if it costs you 200 million, you got to make 400 million before you actually start making money.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's a huge chunk out of the 400 million. Like, I'd be happy with half of my returns back, in the first day.
The first weekend? Damn.
And to put this in perspective, Black Panther made $10 million less than Justice League has made to this day. So Justice League's entire run is $228 million.
Yeah.
And that's a movie with Batman and Superman, and they're
And
putting out
Wonder
movies
Woman
with
and
Black
the Flash.
and Wonder Woman.
Like DC can't hit it with their A squad, and Marvel's throwing out, their B and C and just raking in the dough.
Yeah, B Squad, B for Black Panther. There you go.
I just thought that was an interesting.
No, it's crazy. It's nuts. But that'll show you what a solid film can get you, and also it shows you what a history of good work will get you.
Yeah, that's also
the
true.
budget on Black Panther was $200 million.
So bam, money back guaranteed.
Yeah,
it's probably closer to 400 though with
but again, like if you're halfway there in 3 days.
Has it hit internationally yet, or is it just?
Yeah, it did 190 something internationally. So it has made.
I was wondering how it would do in Africa.
Huh?
It's perfectly fine. Yeah,
I was wondering. I'm like, in Africa, are they like, okay, we got an African superhero, or are they like, fuck you, there's plenty of good countries here you could have been from.
I got to ask you guys.
Yeah, to make up one with kids. Come on.
This is not a spoiler. I know we're gonna get into that in a few minutes, but was anybody else just hoping to see like an Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall cameo in this film at all?
Now, would you rather be from the fake African country of Zamunda or the fake African country of Wakanda?
Who were the one that were kind of like the Black Vikings?
Huh?
Neither of those.
The guys that lived up in the hill.
With
all the furs and shit.
They're from Wakanda.
Okay, that's
where you want to be from?
Yes. Yeah. Those guys are badass.
Baku.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I mean, that's crazy. And Black Panther is also much, much, much better than Justice League.
It's got some of the best acting that's been in a Marvel film to date, too. I'm sure that helps.
I mean, they got big name. Angela Bassett is in this movie. I mean, it's good stuff.
To be fair, though, Angela Bassett was also in the Green Lantern movie. So
yes, she was.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. But everyone's got to get paid.
Cobra Kai.
Well, Lani, thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
Yeah, I'm glad I could do it. Thanks for having me as always, and thanks for being such a supporter of my project. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, so thank you.
No problem. And we'll stop by and say hi in Lexington.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be in Columbus later this year at the Wizard World in Columbus too. So.
We'll be there too.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully we'll have some new announcements on our movie soon, and I'll definitely pass them your way as soon as we can make them official. But we have a really awesome meeting with a really cool director next week that I'm really excited about. So hopefully I'll have news soon about that. So
awesome. Text me when you get it. All right. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
What was that shark movie that you was in?
Trailer Park Shark.
Trailer Park Shark 2. The Roxy's Revenge. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's spoil some Black Panther. If you have not seen Black Panther yet, I'm letting you guys know right now that this will be spoiled from all of us. Rondell is ready to talk. He's got more than 3 words to say. He's excited.
Momentous occasion.
This is his return to the podcast.
Ready for me to go? This is just awesome. Like I've said before, I mean, I told you guys, this movie was everything. Even aside from Marvel, just Black Panther itself. It was just basically the levels of this movie from not even the Marvel storyline. This movie encompassed the Black experience. Basically, there's so many levels to this, from the infighting equivalent to black on black crime to basically, Killmonger when he dies, basically, well, even before that, Killmonger and his basically quest for justice and his whole, the whole impetus for him going back to Wakanda, it's like it's the same thing in the Black community. You have Blacks that are suffering, that are living in the hood, that look at those that have made it out like, okay, you've made it out. You know the tools, or you have the tools or resources to be able to help us. Why aren't you helping us? So there's so many levels to this, aside from Marvel in itself. But yeah, this movie was just everything.
That is the most Rondell has said about anything. That might be the most. Even if you add up all the things he said about everything else
I've ever said
on the podcast,
yeah.
I think he's just said more just now.
That's probably fair.
And I like the emotion that Rondell brings to this. it's not just a monotone anymore.
I thought this was one of the most original Marvel movies we've gotten since Guardians. I'd say the first Guardians.
I don't think it's that like original. Like it's pretty much the same thing as Iron Man. It's not very like the story. I mean, it's
yeah. You can call out the story beats like you.
Yeah.
Like as soon as that dude came to challenge him and he lost, and he's like, "I spared your life. The people need you." I'm like, "Oh, he's not gonna come back and save his ass."
Yeah.
Like I was like,
I like that dude though.
Yeah,
that dude. I like that dude too. I'm like, but I know
he's awesome.
I know he's coming back, so that's why I was like, okay, that's the moment where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that dude's coming back to do something else. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that there was just some really good characters in this movie. Michael B. Jordan obviously is Killmonger, fucking badass. I really like that villain. I'm really pissed off that they killed him. You guys,
that was a great scene though.
Yeah. No, it was great.
It was a great scene.
But like
conflicted with
it was a really good scene.
But like what gets me is that he's like, I'm gonna do the same thing as the slaves who jumped off the boat. I'm gonna, like it's better to die than to live in bondage. And then all there's one little line of dialogue. It just says, "You do not get to choose." And that's it. You're alive. You're gonna pay for your crimes. Like, I'm gonna make sure of that. And then you get to have Killmonger back because he's such a fucking good villain. They killed off fucking Claw. Andy Serkis was a badass.
Yeah,
he was a badass villain, and I liked him a lot. And it just seems like a waste that they killed off these villains. Yeah,
that's Andy Serkis, like Gollum. Andy Serkis.
Yeah. That's Andy Serkis.
What was that actually Andy Serkis?
Yeah.
And not like a CGI.
No, it was CGI.
I'm so used to him being CGI. It's like, oh, it's CGI guy.
It was
You're spoiling part of the remake revolution, Dan, and you didn't even.
Oh, damn it!
It was all CGI, but but it's actually Andy Serkis' face. When they had
no.
Anyway. I told you.
Yeah.
Question. What do you want?
It was the funny part is it was all
never not do the CGI.
Yeah, like that's what I thought, man.
The funny part is that was all CGI except for the laser hand. That was surprisingly real.
I always.
Oh man, I'm just really disappointed they killed those villains. But then like the sister, fucking, I can't remember any of their names because they're all super African. But
sure.
I'm sorry.
I can't remember their names. They're all super African.
I'm a shitty American. I understand this. Okay, it's not. I'm not trying to make excuses for myself.
Technically, you're not wrong. They were super and they were African.
There you go. But like on that note too, like they were just really, really badass characters, and I liked seeing them. It's not like they were, like they were playing roles that you could kind of see anywhere, but they gave it their own life and their own thing, and I want to see these characters again. And I mean, even from the 2-3 seconds you saw these characters, in Winter Soldier and things like that, you got this presence, and I'm really glad that they brought it full on for this movie, and they're just very engaging and super awesome characters, and I really dug it. So yeah, like they just did a good job with this movie, like even though it was still kind of the same, Marvel flick.
I got to jump off of Rondell's point real quick. I think this is one of the most positive African American movies I've ever seen.
Yeah,
because you don't get the stereotypes in this like you would in the other films.
No, and yeah, Jason had brought up a point, and I think it's like I don't think no one ever says nigger in this movie.
No.
It's versus like
I don't think they would to begin with, but
no.
When I was asking Max earlier, I was asking him if this was the first African American predominant cast where they didn't use that word at least once.
Yeah, and that's what I said. It's an American movie, with nothing but like mostly, I shouldn't say nothing but like mostly Black Americans. So yeah, it's just
Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, you can say it.
Right. So yeah, you got Hateful Eight. This only got one black guy in it, and they dropped the N-bomb like 800,000 times. And this movie was like 38,000 black people in it, and not one.
Yeah.
I just love
cast of 38,000.
I just love culturally what this movie can do because it's shown, like I said, not the stereotypes that you would see in a Tyler Perry movie or a Friday film or whatever. It gives you something different, and it's really good. I really like this film.
Yeah, really.
Well, you're not a fan of the Hallelujah?
Oh my goodness! Even Rondell can't get down on that.
Just keeps coasting downhill, and it didn't start that high to begin with,
Just you wait; they'll put Tyler Perry in the sequel.
But
Tyler Perry Easter.
But how about the soundtrack though?
Soundtrack was awesome.
Soundtrack was awesome. Yeah.
I loves it. Your son digging on it? Listen
The
to
score. I like the score too.
Yes.
Did Kendrick do the score? Because I know it was Aftermath that did the score. Was it Kendrick?
Some of it.
He did original songs. He did original songs for it, but not the full score, I don't think.
Man. Mike and I were talking about this. Kendrick needs to get on these songs that he's doing. He's only got like one verse, and it's really short on the song that they released for the movie. And I'm just like, man, Kendrick, like, can I get King Kuta on the Black Panther album, please? Like, let's do some stuff. But no, Kendrick, he's very. And it's all good, but I wish there was more Kendrick on that track.
Okay, the score was composed by Ludwig Göransson, who did
Ludwig Göransson.
There you go. He did Creed and Fruitvale Station, which makes sense because
so this dude follows Michael B. Jordan around.
Yeah, and Ryan Coogler.
Or the director,
No, it's just Michael B. Jordan.
Well, did you see?
Like sets up in his bathroom, like Aaron.
Shit, did you see how Michael B. Jordan was built? I'd follow him around, and I'm straight. It's like,
dude, it's fucking awesome. That's why I'm so pissed. Like, why did they kill him?
But he was one of the best villains we've had in a Marvel film.
Yeah. You know why? Because he's not just a scary dude in a metal suit with a stupid name.
Well, I mean, yeah, he kind of is exactly that. But it's
no, he's more than that.
It makes you want more of a backstory on it.
Yeah.
Well, he did it. Yeah, he had a backstory. It was like in depth and heart wrenching too.
Yeah. And I just really dug that character. And just like all this technology, and you can't save this dude from a stab wound. Come on, man! You repaired this guy's spine with lasers.
Well, see, at the beginning of the movie, I had a problem with that because when T'Challa was challenged, he had this huge hole in his chest.
Yeah.
And everybody was just calm, like nothing happened. I'm like, this dude has a hole in his chest. What the hell is going on? And then it was like, okay, you can heal him with no problem. So I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on?
But if you watch it closely, like that hole just turns into a couple red smears, like a couple.
Yeah, pretty quickly.
A couple minutes later.
They weren't worried
a lot in this movie.
Yes.
They weren't worried because it was only 15 minutes into the movie. He can't die yet. It was like
that would have been a fucking twist.
T'Challa just
dies in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Right before he says, "I never freeze," he just dies. He froze. What the hell?
And then the credits start.
No, the rest of the movie is just like the funeral and everybody.
No. They throw up Black Panther really big.
The opening credits. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Kang.
No, like I get what you're saying about Killmonger, but at least they didn't end it like like the old '80s Batman in the first one, where they kill the Joker.
He's
like,
sitting there.
Well, not exactly like that. Damn it, man!
With the like the Black Panther plane and the suits, like that helicopter with the golem on it would look real cheesy. Are you okay? They can't kill Killmonger like that. Okay?
No. I mean, look. At least he had like a dramatic end.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Yes. Not literally like they killed the Joker. They fucking fly into Gotham and they tie his leg.
It was a good death.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think you wanted to go the route of someone like Loki, because as much as people love Loki, like he barely registers. He's barely a villain anymore, and that honestly has made him a little less interesting to me.
Yeah, but he's been in like 10 movies now. That's the only thing. But I'm just like, if you
but you realize they're running out of things for him to do.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, they needed to take it easier on Loki. They need to keep around more good villains, so you don't have to use up Loki the whole time.
Or this is like, you know what? They were like, you know what, Killmonger, he had a good run. Let's not ruin him in the next one.
I'm just like, if you keep the villains around, then you don't have to use the same one over and over and over again. Because the only reason they use Loki over and over and over again is because he's the only one still alive. That's it. He's the only option they have. So if you have a Killmonger, if you keep your Claw, then you have toys in the toy box to play with. But they keep on just killing them all.
Or you just find new toys.
Yeah.
And make them compelling. I didn't know who the hell Killmonger was before this movie, and now I love him.
But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, can I get a Killmonger movie? Come on.
I saw the action figure sitting there, and I'm like, oh, that's freaking original. Some dude named Killmonger. That's like
actually a Black Panther villain.
I know. Yeah, I know. But then I see the movie, and I'm like, hey, Killmonger. I like this dude.
He's a hard ass.
Yeah.
Then you just go and watch the movie over and over again, Max. That's the whole idea. They were like, you love this character?
Anyway,
probably come tomorrow.
Well, now you're going to double it, because now you're going to be like, I love the movie anyways. I'm going to see it again. Now I'm going to see it double the times because, damn it, I want to see Killmonger more.
But there you go. Like they're gonna keep this train rolling. This Marvel universe doesn't show any signs of stopping. So I'm just saying it's probably not a good idea to kill off all your villains, because the villains make the movie. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, the heroes are going to be the heroes all the fucking time. The villains are if you have a compelling villain, I guarantee you your movie's better.
We're just gonna bring back Obadiah Stane.
Oh my god! I mean, I don't got no problem with Jeff Bridges. Like, bring it on. But
no, I love Jeff Bridges, but I hated that character.
But also, he wasn't very good. So I wasn't mad. Like, you kill that guy off, I'm not mad.
Yeah,
he sucks. But the good one, and you got two good ones in this movie, and they killed them both.
Yeah. The car chase scene in South Korea I thought was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
The effects were alright. It was all good shit.
I like the rolling chair.
I love Andy Serkis, his character.
Andy
Serkis as the Claw is fucking awesome. He's just such an asshole.
He's completely insane. No, that's the fun part.
But like, he's like, oh no, you can go, and he lets that guy run off. It makes us look like amateurs.
Yeah, you gotta
and he's like, holy shit, this dude is fucking for real. Like, that is smart. So again, wasted. Because I mean, like, the whole reason that he was good in this one too is because you were waiting to see what Andy Serkis, because like he was such a badass in the little cameo he has in fucking the Avengers movie. So just a waste. They could have killed Andy Serkis and kept Killmonger. Or kept Andy Serkis, killed Killmonger.
But did you see, Claw's burial or anything?
No, you just see him just shooting the dome.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't.
They have Wakandan technology.
You see him get shot.
Okay, so Killmonger's still alive and Andy Serkis is still alive.
No, not a ploy for Killmonger to get Clue back to Wakanda so he can get more vibranium. That's what you're saying.
Maybe.
No.
He's gonna come back with a laser head this time.
Yeah, laser head.
He's gonna come back as a computer, like what's his face in Civil War, like Zola.
I saw.
Oh yeah.
Somebody was like, "Where was Captain America? Like, isn't he buddies?" And then somebody else commented, "He was growing a beard." Duh.
No, Well, no, because seriously, here, chronologically, this is a week after Civil War, so Captain America's bringing all his buddies. That's where that explains where he's been. Like, this is only a week after all that shit went down. So, it's been a busy week for Black Panther.
Yeah, apparently. You're running all over the place, man.
Avenge your father's death, and then have to deal with your cousin. Jesus.
Crazy.
Did anyone? I mentioned this in my video review because I just posted my video review like right before we started the podcast, but I'll mention it here. Was anyone else weirded out by the fact that in the span of 1992 to present day, that young guy's going to turn into Forrest Whitaker?
Yes.
I was like, Forrest Whitaker looked like Forrest Whitaker in 1992. He didn't look like this guy.
I mean, honestly, I would like it if more people turned into Forrest Whitaker. So
it just, I have nothing bad to say about the movie. I agree with everything everyone said. It's a fun, well thought out thematically movie. Great performances all around. But when he mentioned that backstory, when he revealed who he was in that backstory, I'm like, man. In 26 years, you're going to go from this young guy to you. It's going to be some hard living for you in the past 26 years, man.
At that moment in the movie, my wife and I were both looking at each other like, how do they find so many people with the messed up eye? Like,
Dad's eye is like right here.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I was like, how are you not supposed to laugh at this?
I'm in the front row too, right up on it. I'm like, whoa.
Third, fourth row, and I'm looking at that eye, and I'm like, damn.
And also, I'm like, dude, you're in the spirit world. You can't get that altered. It's like, come on, man.
This is 2018.
Like,
you can't see. They can CG the mustache off of Henry Cavill for 20 minutes.
But they can't
fucking fix his eye for 2 seconds.
That's one of those deals. I'm gonna go back and kind of watch some stuff in Civil War tonight before I go to bed, and I bet you, I go to that scene where he's talking to his dad. That's gonna bother me now.
Yeah,
I'll be like,
that dude's on Civil War last night.
I mean, whatever. He's a good actor, and like, it's a very good performance. But
I didn't notice it so bad in Civil War.
Now you pointed it out.
Like shows up in the spirit world. He's like, "Oh, Father, Father,
Are you
Father?"
Okay, we shouldn't be.
There's nothing wrong. People, it is what it is. It is what it is. But now it's noticeable.
Yeah, it was really bad.
All right, Max.
It's like every.
Oh, sorry, Mike.
Oh no, never mind. I was going to go into a Star Trek thing, but it's okay.
Rhonda, have you been here for the new rating system?
Oh yeah.
We'll let Max explain it real quick.
All right, so you can give it 1, 2, or 3 geeks. If you've seen a movie by yourself and you're like, well, I don't think anyone else should suffer through this movie, that's 1 geek. 2 geeks means you know a couple people.
Yeah, I think I was here. Last time I was here, it was like the beginning stages where we were throwing it out there as a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. They were workshopping it.
Yeah. All your possible friends, you're telling them. That's what this movie gets from me. 3 fucking geeks, because, you got to go see this movie. Seriously.
Is there really any question from any of us?
Well, Jason said he didn't like some of the martial arts. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm angry. It's been a long day.
I remember
Typical colonizer response.
That was a throwback to the Remake Revolution. Yeah, it's a 3, I think, across the board, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
Sure, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
This sister scene with.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say, though, the highlight of my movie-going experience this morning, because it was a packed crowd at like Sunday at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is, I mean, that says something about the movie itself. So it's going to make its money back.
Drums beforehand?
No. What was happening? What was happening was we're up front row. The previews start, and there was a shit ton of previews, but then the Venom trailer comes on at the very end. All it has is like the Venom face and the V, and the guy next to me is like, "What is this, V for Vendetta sequel?" I'm like,
yeah, man, totally is.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, it might as well be. I mean, shit.
They're bringing
Doesn't look like anything else.
What the hell?
Yep, totally. You should check it out.
Yeah,
that made my.
It's gonna be awesome.
Hugo, he thinks he's the one
that
giving
made my
the animal.
experience.
Tonight's podcast is brought to you by audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/3geeks. You find yourself getting stressed out from reading books. I know I do. It made me bald. But since I've been using Audible, my hair has started growing back. It has been fantastic. So go to audibletrial.com/3geeks for all your audiobook needs. I can now use shampoo and conditioner. It's amazing. Thanks to Audible. Thank you, Audible.
It's my real hair.
Have a great night.